Hello and welcome back to Project Zomboid. It's time to show you all about Build 42. So if you are a Stalker fan, watch this video because there's some good news for stalkers in Build 42. One thing that I saw in Build 42 crafting system that got me really excited is the gas mask. They added a real working gas mask with filter. So for us stalker fans, this is really good news because we can add toxic or radioactive zones in the map and we don't need any other mods that add gas mask mechanics because we already have them in Build 42. But also this makes me think if they will add some sort of radioactive events in the game, who knows, cause why would you add a gas mask with filter in the first place? There are some more mechanics that they have added. One of them is the object sharpening. Knives and other sharp objects can become dull when used. And then you have to find a way to resharpen your items. You can create or find something called a whetstone, W-H-E-T stone. And then it gives you an option to sharpen your blade with this item, which is really good. You can also use something from nature like, flintstones and stuff like that. But anyway, Build 42 also has many new items like disposable lighters, chest rigs, pouches. There is also a new item called the Hurricane Lantern, which can be refueled with gasoline, which is great. It is very similar to a mod that we had in Build 41 called the Simple Lantern mod, but this one you can't place it on the ground and turn it on and off. It only works when you're holding it or attaching it to yourself. They have also added a lot of new melee weapons like hatchets and axes, and you can also craft your own melee weapon, but I'll show you that later on. So they also added a lot of new clothes, and not only that, but they also added a lot more armor types in game. For example, you can find a hockey armor or a hockey suit, and you can also craft leather armor. You can craft an armor made out of tires, which is crazy. And later on I'm gonna show you also some blacksmithing stuff. I feel like they added a lot of new items that we really needed, and now there's a lot more variety when you're looting and scavenging in Project Zomboid. So they also added these crafting stations, like for example this bandsaw here, which has to be powered by electricity. And this bandsaw can help you, cut metal and do certain things with metal. And there's something strange because you cannot pick this up and take it to your hideout, which I find it really strange because you can pick up a fridge, but you can't pick up a bandsaw. I hope this is not going to be like this and they're going to let us pick up these crafting stations and let us take them to our hideouts, There has been a lot of negativity about Build 42 because they added a lot of realism elements that some people are finding it annoying. And one of them is the muscle strain. So if you don't know what muscle strain is, it occurs when you're lifting up objects and you are also like running around a lot, doing a lot of, fence jumping. And it also happens a lot when, for example, you have a baseball bat and you're smashing over 100 zombies in less than a minute. And that creates muscle strain. Now, muscle strain, when it happens, your character will start panicking, he will have agony, he will have pain, he will have pretty much everything, and this will slow you down, will slow down your fights, and if you keep on going, it's only gonna get worse. But you can turn off muscle strain or even lower it down from the Sandbox option, so make sure to adjust it to your liking. Now here's the thing, this muscle strain mechanic could be used in a PvP server to restrict people from abusing the melee combat, especially if you have a strength-oriented character or overloading your character with a lot of items. Now you can also become a blacksmith and forge your own tools and weapons, which is really cool, but you can't forge bullets or make black powder. We might need a mod for that later on, unless they add something to the gunsmithing mechanic as an extra option for Zomboid. There is a mod called AmmoMaker which allows you to mold and forge bullets and make gunpowder for Build 42, so make sure to check it out. and I'm pretty sure I'm going to use it in my mod list. Now when it comes to blacksmithing and also pretty much all the crafting that they added in build 42, I'm kinda disappointed because there's no animations or sounds when you are forging, for example. I expected to see sparks and flames and banging of the hammer on the metal, you know. But all you get is this green bar getting filled up, and there's, with all this realism, you know, it's not really satisfying having this type of mechanics. I hope they add these kind of details later on. Anyway, let's talk about guns. Gunplay has been improved quite a lot, but if you have a new character and your aiming skill is really low, you can't hit anything. Even a zombie up close with a shotgun, you will probably miss. And worse, if your character starts panicking, you will miss even more, because now they added some new features that can affect your aiming in the sandbox option. Well, we are halfway through this video, so make sure to like and also subscribe if you want to see more about Project Zomboid and especially Project Zomboid mods, because I feature them in my channel. Now these options can be turned down and even turned off from the sandbox option, which is okay. But like I said before, the same thing for the muscle strain. Some PvP servers might turn on some of these things, you know, just to make it harder for you. Once your character gets to level 3 aiming, you will start seeing some improvement. And now you also have to make a character that is focused, like, you know, a veteran that has some really good aiming skill if you want to use guns right away. A new feature that they have added, which I really like, is the new aiming reticle. And this aiming reticle can be customized from the UI options. You can make it bigger, you can make it smaller, you can change the color. You can also switch it from a cross to a circle. You can customize it however you want. This is really great because we had some mods that did that in build 41, but now we don't need them because this thing now is vanilla. By the way, there's no crossbows or bows that have been added to build 42, which is super disappointing. They didn't even add something where you can craft one, for, you know, a simple bow and arrow type of system. Meanwhile, like I said before, they added a new way to create melee weapons. And I'm not talking about forged weapons from the blacksmith, no. We're talking about, you know, attaching a circular saw to your baseball bat, which is like one of my favorite weapons right now. This is very similar to a mod that we have called Scrap Weapons in build 41. And we also have a similar version of Scrap Armor, but now it's in build 42. Let's talk about animals, right? We've got farm animals like cows, chickens, goats, no dogs unfortunately, but we also have game like rabbits and deer. You can find these animals depending on what they are. If they're farm animals, you're probably going to find them near farming areas. And sometimes you can also find this particular trailer that has these animals inside, which is really interesting. Now, hunting deer and rabbits, it's really hard. It takes a lot of patience, but it's quite fun as well, especially if you're like a deer hunter fan. They're also adding vermin in this game, which are mice and rats, and they will start appearing after a certain period of time in game. You can also set this from the sandbox option, and they will roam around and go in your house even if your door is shut, and they will make up a mess, if you know what I mean. I'm not sure if they can also steal or, you know, nibble your food that you have stored in your hideout. Build 42 has now a lot better performance than before, especially if you're going to run it now in windowed borderless mode, because some players had some issues and they could only run the game in full screen. We also have new location selection menu, which has a lot of information about each area in Project Zomboid, and you can also see the new Echo Creek, which is west of Rosewood. It is absolutely a huge area. A lot of farms, lots of rural areas, and lots of new cool places to explore, like the water plant, for example. So not only they added Echo Creek, but they also overhauled all the map. You'll find a lot more details now, and you'll find some different buildings, for example, and some buildings have been expanded. For example, some police stations are now a lot bigger than they used to be, and they also added underground shelters and even bunkers. Now you remember the school in Rosewood? Well, now it has a huge underground shelter. The character creation menu has been slightly improved, and now it has an option to give your character an actual voice, which you can select and also adjust the pitch. And yes, your character is going to be a lot more vocal now, especially when you're fighting in hand-to-hand combat. Another amazing feature that I accidentally just discovered recently is that you can make your character sit down on a sofa or on a bed or on a chair. Just press the action button in front of a chair or whatever furniture it is, and your character will actually sit down, and it actually works to restore your endurance, which is really nice. The game has also new lighting effects and graphics. If you look around when you're playing in Build 42, you will see the light diffuse a lot better than it used to be, which is really nice. Makes the game a lot more subtle in my opinion. And also, zombies can see you in pitch black darkness, and that's because the stealth mechanics of the game has been reworked. Zombies can't see you behind cars and certain objects anymore, so stealth has been improved quite a lot. Hope you guys found this video useful. If you have any questions, make sure to write them here below in the comments. Make sure to subscribe and like if you want to see more videos like this. Bye and thank you for watching.